When this manga first came out, I wasn't skeptical. In fact, I thought the story itself was interesting and had potential in the psychological standpoint, and I was a little bit apprehensive for doing the reviews, mainly because of not the gore, but the added feck off the added feature, shall we say? Because well, the only thing when it comes to anime, because I'm mostly an anime watcher, as I mostly say, when it comes to that, is High School DxD, but that was accidental finding that. I mean, when season 3 comes out, I mean, I'll tell you the story of how I found it in the first place. But anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to my review of DeadTube Chapter 6. Now, let me get it up. Now, the reason why I'm doing a review now and not when it first came out is because of Chapter 6 itself, and as a lot of you know, that shit went crazy. Now, Now, I'm going to talk about Chapter 5 a little bit, because I never usually talk about the, length it takes for a chapter to come out, but, with this, it was a little bit like, this manga, we know that, the date, it wasn't really set, it wasn't really monthly, it wasn't really weekly. I mean, like, the, release date was, all over the place, and the way Chapter 5 ended, I think that the, creator, had a little bit of trouble, or he planned it from the beginning, and, just, wanted a little bit of a break. I mean, how many pages did Chapter 5 have not last month, about same as Chapter 6, but one off. But yeah, good lord. Forgive me because I'm not very good with names, so for now, just say the cameraman I'll just call him cameraman. Last Chapter 5, as we know, it ended off with the film club, the 3 members of the film club, the big-breasted cowgirl, and the other 2 guys, saying, "Oh, this is DeadTube. This was all a part of DeadTube," and they all mentioned it's a game. DeadTube is a game, and I was just like, okay, have we got some Game of Thrones shit going on here? Because technically, it was a little bit like that. Not gonna lie. I can see the comments now. Oh, why are you doing that? Why are you comparing it to Game of Thrones? I'm not comparing it, but I'm just saying. Oh, so it was you. Ah, fair enough. Yeah. They're on about the payment, the amount of money they get for the view count, and yeah, the more real it gets, the more people want to watch the video, and okay, that logic is kind of not really sound. I am surprised that, obviously this is the DeadTube is a parody of YouTube, but I was surprised it had the new layout, because most of the time they use the old layout, with the tiles on top, etc., etc. Oh, but it doesn't have the bell, so I suppose, yeah, feckin' bell. In Chapter 5, the director was killed, but then she comes back. Basically, her logic for this, for DeadTube, was because the classic films, now I will admit she is a little bit right with that, have more of a life-threatening ambience with the way it's done, like the actors seem, a little bit on the life-threatening side, and everything seems a little bit more intense. And I suppose it does add that like, effect with the lack of green screen. I mean, like, I don't know how it was used in, like, classic days. I mean, like, yeah. But yeah, the way she faked the death is that they used, I think it was the pink-haired girl, because I didn't really know there was another female in there, but now looking at closely, well, not closely, now that I just noticed when I came back to, like, refresh, there is a third girl there, so I suppose it was her, but I don't remember seeing her at all, so yeah. I'm uncaring, to be perfectly honest, which, yeah, it may sound monstrous. But yeah, when she fell, the two boys chucked out the girl that had the makeup on, like, yeah, well, the corpse of her, like the wig and everything, and then the director fell onto a soft cushion, well, a mattress of sorts. And all this was to make the movie reality. Now, to be perfectly honest, I still have a little bit of a thing, like, how are they doing this? Like, with Dead Tube, how are they not getting caught? I mean, like, with chapter 4, well, I think it was chapter 4, yeah, it was chapter 4. Yeah, whichever chapter it was, like, where the main girl protagonist, everyone thinks that she has the police under their thumb, which does kind of make sense, to be perfectly honest. But it does get a little bit of a viewpoint on her mindset. Now I'll explain that. We thought that she killed the the other members, but she didn't. Now, the only reason why she killed these members, excluding the director herself, was basically in self-defense. That's what it was. I mean, with the, well, actually, I suppose you can consider this one with the director's self-defense as well, because she was going to kill the cameraman, essentially. I mean, you can't really fault that. But at the same time, it was murder with the director, so it was a 50-50 thing. But it shows that she'll only kill people that are her target, essentially, and others in self-defense. Now that's fair enough, because they did go for her, and obviously they were going to kill her. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure she will kill people that that'll get in the way, as it were, regardless if they were going to kill her originally. Like, say it was a new set of people, and they knew she was going to kill a certain target, and they were doing means to stop her, but not in a violent means, then she would kill them because they were getting in the way of her goal. So yeah. Yeah, the motives of the director are a little bit, I suppose it's that nostalgic thing, that she's trying to bring back what she wanted, and the person she was in love with wasn't the cameraman, as I thought, because, perfectly honest, I mean, kudos to her. I'm not going to say master manipulator, but her manipulative skills are really, amazing, to be perfectly honest. She's in love with DeadTube, and everyone in, well, excluding the cameraman, of course, because he was basically being used by everyone. Yeah. And then he talks about, like, the guy, like, he knew he was already in hell, but to find out he was being used by everyone, it was like the friendship was a lie and everything, and the rape. Yeah, the blonde girl, like, her mindset is just way over the thing. Like, those three guys saying they'll die happy if they, do all that to her. I've heard of the phrase, if I've had sex with so-and-so, I'll probably die a happy man, but to see it in the literal sense, I'm a little bit like, oh, come on, there's no way in hell that you mean it in the literal sense. I mean, It makes me want to see their deaths. I'm sorry, to see how they reacted. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm intrigued by it, by the way they died. Like, did they die smiling? Or did they die screaming or crying? I mean, that's essentially what I'm thinking about. And the only reason why she allowed that was for the sake of acting. I mean, in reality, but again, in reality, she's like a pervert, a crazy pervert. And then, you know, she just starts mocking the guy as well, pretending to be in love with him. Which, my God. Yeah, these guys deserve an Oscar, if nothing else. And, you know, those two guys and the other ones were obviously pretending to be friends with the cameraman, and they were sex buddies with the the director. Then, when I thought all hope was lost, he just goes to get the camera, and I'm just like, what's he doing? Like, is this the end of the manga? I mean, like, it was very short-lived, not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, and then he just says that's just too bad, and I was just like, wait, what? What's too bad? And then that girl, that crazy fucking girl, just gets up. Oh, and I was just like, wait, what? Would you beat him with a baseball bat? I mean, come on, girl. What's this? I mean, you can't turn around from that. And, you know, obviously I was waiting for the explanation. And the reason why was because, you know, the bat was light and there was fake blood on it, or, like, you know, a coating within it. I'm sure it was camouflaged with the bat itself, and then it, like, you know, spread it onto her when, you know, he was hitting her. Now then. Oh, what was his name? Machia. Machia, that's his name. Machia was basically using both the main girl and the director because he didn't know who to believe, which is fair enough. I mean, I would be in, if I was in this situation, I would think the same thing. Oh my God. I'm just really looking over the pages, you know, like to refresh my memory, because I normally do that with my reviews, and my God, the gore is... Oh! Anyway, if this does get animated and it, you know, it does follow the gore, yeah, it'll be like a little bit of Hellsing where I'm just on another tab when it's playing. So yeah, the way he noticed that he was being lied to by the director was because of the resolution of the picture that we saw. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, every time I think that something is off and then I'm proved right, I always think, my God, people are gonna think that's bullshit. I mean, you can call bullshit, fair enough. You know the way it was darkened, the picture last month, well, in November. I was just like, okay, hang on, that's a little bit weird. Why is everyone else lighted up, and her face is dark? I mean, surely she doesn't need to camouflage herself if she's using them, because they know it's her. I mean, like, all you need to do is, like, show yourself to the director. I mean, like, there's just unnecessary deception, essentially. I mean, like, obviously we know it's her by the drawing, and they did, but I was just like, come on, girl, I mean, really? I mean, surely you're not stupid. I mean, surely you don't think you have the upper hand. But yeah, what happened was, from the movie that they filmed before and after, they separated the two pictures, had Mashiro placed over, like, you know, an enlarged version of the picture where they were tied up. And no matter how hard they tried, the Machia noticed the different resolution sizes within them. Or, like, you know, yeah, hold on. You did know the director to zoom in, didn't count. There's no way to achieve that level of focus. It's obvious. There is something off with the focus, the resolution, if the resolution is different. So yeah, there was two different types of resolution with the focus. So yeah, a little bit of a Photoshop thing, to be honest. I was just like, what? Like, okay, there's some craziness going on here. And then, before, you know, like, they had to commit suicide, I mean, to be perfectly honest, for the way she was killed, I don't think that suicide could be claimed. But after, you know, the director killed those guys in the on the trip, and she got the cops on her off her. I can only assume that, you know, besides framing people, the crazy girl has a way to get the cops off her, if nothing else. Or say that there was a struggle, but I don't know how she's going to hide, you know, the other corpses. But I'm sure that'll be dealt with whenever the next one comes out. But yeah, it goes a little bit, you know, on the freaky side. The way she's begging, like her face, it was just like, oh, good lord, this is some freaky shit going on here, begging for her life. And then, you know, the guys, the Machia saying it's an unsightly, and, you know, he wants her to stop, you know, like, I don't think he cared about her integrity. I mean, to be perfectly honest, he didn't care at this point from, you know, like her being buck naked. And then, you know, they kill her. You know, like, she's begging. I mean, essentially, the ironic thing is, the director got what she wanted. What? Yeah. Two ironies. Like, first is the faking part, you know, with the deception on both sides, with the director and the main girl. And Macha, of course. Macha and the main girl, you know, like, pretended to, you know, like be enemies, essentially, because that's what they did, and then beat her to death and make it look real. Then with well, actually they made it a little bit too real, you know, with them, you know, like with an actual dead body. But the ironic thing is, what the director hated with today's movie standards, she was actually achieved with today's movie standards at an amateur standpoint, essentially, because she was deceived for someone who watched loads of movies, and I'm sure that was her downfall. But yeah, that was the first ironic thing. The second ironic thing was, you know, getting the actual real thing that she wanted, but it's happening to her instead. I mean, as the saying goes, you reap what you sow. And she did, because, you know, killing those 4 people, but so far there hasn't been a reap what you sow. Well, actually, I did think there was with the main girl, but obviously that was a downright manipulation fest. And then there was things that he didn't want to tell, that I wanted to tell her but couldn't. She was his first love, the director, and the movies that he thought she did were never interesting at all. The reality that she wanted, she never really achieved, and she didn't. The ones that achieved it were Machia and the main girl. Again, I don't remember her name. So, yeah. This series, I'm not going to lie, has got a lot of potential. I can see it being a short series, obviously, with the way that it goes, but who knows? It could prove me wrong. I don't expect it, you know, like to be in the 200s or anything like that. If it gets to the hundreds, then I'll be a bit surprised. But anything like, you know, I expect, you know, like 50, 70, maybe 60 chapters at the most. But yeah. From the way it's going. But yeah, a lot of plot twists, not gonna lie. Like good use with, like, you know, like the camera thing with the pictures. I mean, like, I think he had a little bit of trouble with that, the mangaka guy, but I'm sure he had it planned, or she had it planned from the beginning, which is fair enough. But to me, from how long it took to get this you know, out, yeah, you know. Or maybe the translation, I don't bloody know. I don't know how far they're ahead. I'm just going for, like, you know, the English translation. But anyway, good psychological thing, I'm not gonna lie. You know, like with the manipulation, the irony when it came to the director, and overall this chapter was good. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Well, actually, I'm not gonna lie, with the psychological stuff and everything else, it was a pretty amazing chapter that has been released thus far. I mean, obviously there will be better or more better chapters after this. But as far as the chapters that are out now go, this was the best chapter out of them all. So yeah, 10 out of 10. I will see you for chapter 7, and I'll do a live reaction, but it won't be out on, you know, the day that it came out. Depends on what the day is. So yeah, see you next time.